To the left. So he's going to tell you about this, and I remember this house too. There was stone walls.
Have you recorded anything?
I haven't. No, you start.
Okay, here
he
we
started
go.
talking. Like you start with Bill.
Okay, we're going to record what you say
You
here.
want to set it up, cue it up?
So, well, you do it.
Okay. Hi. Right about just 1 second, Connie.
Hey, 1 second.
Recording. Okay, we're going to slate it. Here we are. Hi, Ethan Laub Adam here, and it is Tuesday, May 12th. We're with Connie Fuchs, otherwise known as Connie. Connie lived on this site here at the end of Fetterly Road. Address is 11660 Fetterly Road. And Connie grew up here, and he was about age 7. Connie is now
6, yeah.
About 6, okay, 6 or so. All right. And so that would have been in about 1939, 1938, right here on this very site. So Connie, we hand it over to Connie, and he'll give it off to tell the rest of the story about the area.
Thank you very much, Connie. So what do you think? We were trying to figure out which house is which. He thought maybe it was down there.
No.
Oh, here's the dump truck.
That house right there on the corner was occupied by a Smith family.
There you go.
The Smith family over there. Okay.
Yeah.
The second one?
No, the one right on the corner.
Okay.
If you came up the hill straight ahead and said make the left turn.
Okay, let's pause for the...
Smith family had a house right down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you remember being able to see, I think in your oral history, see your father, who you were talking about his headlights.
Yep.
He always kept a new battery.
Up here.
Hi, we're doing a history of the area right here. So
What?
we're doing a history of the area.
What does that mean?
I'll tell, we're just sorry. We're just this is Mr. Connie.
We're with Sherwood Forest Association. This gentleman here lived in this house in 1938.
Right on your lot here.
Oh.
So we're doing a history of it. Sorry, to
Sorry, we should have let you
should
know.
knock you on the door.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You look out your window and see somebody taking pictures of your house.
Sorry, it's not you. It's not about that.
Sorry.
So, what's your name?
Brian.
Brian. Hey, sorry. So we're
I'm
at
Bill
Sherwood Forest-
Jepson, the president of Sherwood Forest. Sorry, we should have.
Yeah.
We're just excited to hear his stories. You might want to hear him too. He was here.
I'm in the middle of work.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
School, too.
Thanks, Brian. No problem.
All right.
Sorry.
But there was a garage right here.
Okay.
And right behind the garage and down the hill here slope, a ways, was a chicken coop.
Oh,
And the folks raised, mother always had to have chickens throughout the year, and so we had chickens in there. And right over here, just about where the chimney of that house is, on the side of the hill, there was a remains of a Model T Ford.
oh.
That was maybe
This-
that was Fetterly's.
That was the same one that was in the fort, in the barn over here.
Maybe.
No, it wasn't.
Was it? Okay.
This was the remains of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
A different one then.
Yeah, the Fetterly had his own Model T.
Oh, did you know this guy then who had the other
No,
one?
this was all the same property that we were on, because the garage was here. Right behind the garage was a corn shed, a corn crib.
Uh-huh.
And then right below the corn crib was the chicken coop, which was just about where that house is.
Wow, that's pretty.
And then the garden down in that area too.
And again, your father, what did he do? He was
My
a
dad was
baker,
a baker.
at Tasty
He
Bakery.
tasty bread, yeah.
So he drove all the way to St. Paul after
No,
they
he,
moved and
he was actually
Lake Street.
on Lake Street.
Okay.
Yep.
And you could see him coming home at night.
Because I could see at that time these trees weren't here.
All the trees were gone. You could see Cedar and 73 Crossroad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That intersection where Spielman's and the Holiday Station is now.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. So this is pretty much the highest point.
Yeah.
Was that from the second floor?
Yeah, that about that. It was about that. Yeah.
Has it been changed, the structure of the house much, or
Oh
This
no,
is
this is
not the
all
house.
nothing here.
it's
This
just
is different house. completely.
totally different?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been built in the 80s.
Okay.
Let's get down the road a little bit maybe.
Yeah, let's go straight this way.
We'll walk down there just a second. Yeah.
Oh, we can.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
That was probably more at this level here.
Well, keep going, Connie. It's down here. We found where the road goes to the barn. So as a kid, I would come down here. This is the road ended here, and your old house was there when I was a kid, Connie, with the stone walls, and a big porch that looked out. You on rolling?
Yeah, I am. Go ahead.
I remember the windows on that porch that looked out that way, so that makes sense that you could see across the area with very few trees, down past that small lake, right? And then out to Cedar Lake Road and 73.
Yeah, we used to ski down this slope here.
Really? Wow. So this was.
Oh, look at the deer.
Yep. Oh, there's a deer. Yep. Yep.
In fact, two of them.
Yep. See him. Yep. So this, as a kid, this is Fetterly's road to his house.
Yes.
And with barn. This is more elevated, I think, than it was. I don't think it went down like this, but anyway, this is the road.
Watch it.
Watch this step. There we go. So this was still, a clear path as a kid. I could see this. You all feel it. And now, of course, the power linemen use this for access to the power line. And the telephone line. So right about here, Connie, as you see it slopes up. His driveway up to his barn, which is right up to the right, correct?
Yeah, we think.
You see the foundation of the barn on the right there, Connie.
Okay, yes.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So there's the driveway where Bill's walking, up
Yeah,
to where you
see-
get into the barn.
See the grade here?
Yep.
See the view of the lake?
Yeah.
Looks familiar, huh? It's been a while since you've been here.
It's been a long years. Yeah.
70 years or so?
Yep. So I remember the road coming up to the barn, and I believe that's the barn, part of the foundation of the barn.
Yeah, see, on the front of the here, there's the
White pretty spry.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Careful, Connie.
is that a creek up there?
No, it's just a cut out of the hill, isn't it? A gully?
I meant a gully, yeah. And some more stones, so
Yeah, here's the wall. Look at this stone.
did the road, did he drive all the way up here? Oh no, this is the
No,
gully.
this is a gully, right?
right
Yeah.
along here.
Yeah.
The foundation's right over there.
Yep.
There was a road. It was right up through here,
Really?
Oh,
right up to the top where the house is. Up there.
There was a road up there?
oh, so that's how he got up there with the raspberries and stuff.
Yeah, he worked with his. He had his farm right up on top of the hill.
Oh, because you said there was raspberries up there. I live right here. So on 2415 Sherwood Hills Road. And Betty Idy, she's 90.
Yeah.
You know her? She's been
no,
there
no,
since
but
the 60s. These guys built the house last year, Mark. And
But that house, the
Listen.
original home was built in the 60s. They tore
that was Fred Bloom, lawyer.
Okay.
But so, yeah, and I saw on an old map from the 60s, I'll show it to you. You could see a road going up this way. So
Really?
that explains why he was farming raspberries up there, you
Yeah.
were saying. I was like, did he climb up the hill? But no, he drove up.
What he did is he had a rototiller,
Okay.
Okay.
and he'd take that right up there and work his fields.
Really?
Did he
where-
sit on it? He could sit on
No,
it?
just
Or,
walk behind it. We'd
hold-
pull up them.
okay.
But there was a road here. I can't believe that.
Yeah. It was
Narrow
you
road.
could drive a car.
But he didn't have a
Wow.
tractor.
Do you think his Model T up here? Could he do it if he wanted to?
His Model T was located right up here.
I know, it's right in the in the barn. That's where he kept it.
Yeah.
Wow. Because when I was a kid, the barn was still standing. It was a red barn with wooden, shingle roof.
Yeah.
And we found his wooden spokes of his wheels in the barn.
I'll be done.
Yep. And that's probably in about 1970.
Yeah.
And gosh, so that would have been, let's see, whatever, 30, 40, 50, 40 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. That's something
I'm
else.
pretty sure that was the barn.
Yes, it was.
Foundation that used to
Yep.
be there.
Yep.
This house is included right over there.
Oh, that
There you go, I
confirms
told
it.
you.
We were
We're
wondering.
gonna walk you down there.
We were thinking that, and you just confirmed it. So thank you.
So my misinformation came
Let's go
from.
back down. We'll go over to the house.
You can pause. Let's go just back down.
Careful.
You think?
Yeah, you see this flat area right here?
This was it.
This is part of the thing that signals my brain as to how he was going up the hill there.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You know, this is almost flat in here.
Yeah, he would turn up there.
you turn here.
Because the barn entrance was right there. Not.
So he would
end-wise.
come up here and then go up that, which is now
Yeah,
a gully.
And I always thought that was so strange because the barn entrance was here. There was a side door, because the barn was the narrow side sat here, and the long side here, of course. And the entrance to the barn wasn't here, where you'd think coming off the road. It was over here, so you'd have a turn to go in. I don't know why I did it, but that's how it
And he
was.
went down past his house and came this way with his Model T.
Yep. How should we get down there?
So we should go back out to
Let's go
the
back
main
on
road. Yeah, that's an easy way to get there.
Yeah, I think so.
We can go down here, I think.
But you can see here, here's part of the stone wall even up here, Connie.
Yeah.
The stone, the rocks. I'll take your hand.
It's actually easier this way. Look at this
Oh, there's an old road of fence.
barbed wire.
Got it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can see his stonework there too,
Yep.
to hold up the wall.
Barbed wire fence. Look
Now
at
we
that.
go out this way.
Right, right. Wow, we're getting some untold stories.
And how old are you again, Connie? 88. Boy, you're in great health. I hope I'm able to jump around hills. I'm 65, so I got 25 years.
Yeah, but this is a driveway up to it, right?
Yeah, this is easier here. Had gardens along here.
Yeah, don't you think that, Connie? I remember there were down by his house, but that there were gardens along the way down towards the house. I don't remember that. Or flower beds. Well, it looked appear that way because the stone wall, and they were like, still there were lilies
There's
growing in
this barn foundation.
see down here. Or found down and they had to cut it. Power company cut it up.
Yeah, and this road at one time connected the end of Sherwood Hills Road that I live on at the top of the hill.
Yeah. That's
So a little farther and you'll see his house.
Yeah, you'll see the foundation when you go down.
We'll take a right where that huge cottonwood is.
The house couldn't have been only right in this area here.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because remember I told you I have 3 sons and we would come down the hill because I live at the top of this hill. We would come down and play in this house, which we didn't know was the Fetterly house.
Really? Look at the pond right here.
See the pond from here? No trees were here. It was this pond bigger back then in the 60s?
No.
It could be in the 30s.
Or 40s? It was this.
That's just the house right here.
You did. Okay, here's.
There's the foundation in there, Connie. So there's his house. Right? Does it make sense to you? Because there's a pump well room and everything in here. Steps.
There's a stone wall and fireplace, so it has to be.
Yep.
Whoa!
Here's a fence we can down here.
Yeah, here's the stairway into the house. Here's the mailbox. Yeah, he chose this view of the lake, I'm sure.
See the steps going up to the door? Where that would have been, right? And there's a stove chimney right there.
Yeah.
Does this look familiar? Is it the right setting? There's a well pump place right there. What do you think?
There was a guy that lived down here beyond him,
Oh,
and this may be the remnants from his.
Oh, so you don't think this is Fetterly's house? You think Fetterly was closer to the barn?
It's harder. Yes,
Oh,
that's what I
recall.
kind of remember.
well, that's this whole flat area up here then would have been his house. Because you were talking before about, I told you the story that kids at
Burwell?
Oak Knoll would ride their horses to school, and they would come upon a man living alone in the home, and they thought he had one hand because he was a
World War I
World
vet.
War I veteran. And so they had story. He was really nice and would give them candy, but he was missing a hand or a finger or something, and you don't remember that part.
That I don't remember. I probably would have. Now my sister might remember
Oh, okay.
because when we moved over from here to
Hillside.
Hillside.
Hillside Lane.
Hillside Lane, he was Fetterly was still here
Okay.
at that time, and
Because that was 1940, 2 years after you
Lived here.
lived here for 2 years, from 38 to 40.
and then a family, Anderson family, moved in where the Smiths had been, and their youngest child, Ronald, was a boy that was my age, and in that family, there were two older children, a boy and a girl, and then there's a younger girl by the name of Barbara, and my sister Alice spent a lot of time with Barbara.
Oh, okay.
So she would remember Fetterly because of her association up in this area. And there were two old men here.
Oh.
One was Fetterly, and then after we had left off here, moved over to Hillside Lane, this other guy moved in over here.
Oh,
Now, he may be the one that you're thinking about because he's quite friendly with the Andersons.
okay.
Okay. When the
And
Andersons
Alice-
lived, the Andersons lived in the house in the corner, right there, right?
Right there.
Yep. I know about. I met that family. I know who they are. My friend Brian. His mom was friends with Andersons, and we knew they lived there, and they had to move out and moved away. And I think one of their daughters took over the house, but it fell in disrepair. So the fire department burned that house down, which is the Andersons' house, and then they also say before that they burned the old house you lived in down,
Yeah.
because that house was abandoned when I was a kid. Again, that was 1970, 72, somewhere in that area.
And Alice is still with us, so you could ask
Yeah,
her.
his
I'm
sister.
going to see her this afternoon.
Oh,
Yep.
great.
Yeah,
That'd be great. We'll share this video with her.
yeah.
Um,
And maybe we could drive Alice over.
that all
here.
makes sense.
the end of the
On the
road.
way back, we should go through here and see if there's any remains of the Fetterly home.
So this is not Fetterly's house, you don't think? It's another man.
It's hard for me to
tell.
This, it looks like a small home for one man. Here's a gas tank.
Yeah, it's an old gas can.
Looks like it's from about back then.
That era.
That would be an old kerosene can to start your fire. So now,
All that garlic mustard in
there's the World War I veteran's house. And
Mystery man.
the mystery man, let's call him the mystery man. And now we're gonna go up.
I wonder how you find records of who lived on this site.
Oh, you can find,
Probably not with the county.
yeah, the city has all that.
This is a big vine underneath this vine.
And this looks like the site of a house, yeah. This is Betty Ides' house.
Yeah.
She lives alone up there. 3 kids, son and 2 daughters are up north. Her husband John died 15 years ago. She's about 90. Oh, and you know what? They had horses. The Ides owned this, and they had horses for their 3 kids. So they had a barn here in the 70s, just all burned down.
Really burned down?
Apparently. Or maybe it was there.
Really?
Yeah, they had 2 horses.
I didn't know that, and I played with Lauren as a kid. He went to high school with me.
We have lots of pictures of them with the horses.
Wow. Hey, now there's a power pole behind you. Telephone pole, whatever.
Yeah, so do you remember if it was here or here's some foundation rocks. Some old cinder block.
You think that's some IDs or that could be Fetterly's? Oh, that's older than.
Well, Ides probably just took this flat area
Yeah.
as the place to put their barn, but yeah, this
This could be
what
Fetterly's.
can you remember of the outline of the Fetterly house?
It was more like a trailer, just long and narrow.
Oh,
And it ran this way.
okay.
Makes sense. Here's some block. Maybe this is the block that was on too.
Yeah.
And I know that the kitchen,
Yeah, this is old cement. Look at the stone in there. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps it was on that. That's the only stone we see around here. Oh, here's some more.
Here's some here. So it was a long and narrow, one level house. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Huh.
So when you went to his house, where do you think the front door was?
facing that way.
Okay. So you came up here.
You kind of see the graded land here, right? Kind. Looks more like a driveway coming up to it, kind of. There's
Yeah.
fencing over there by that big tree. I don't know what you were calling
Now, what's this? See that roof down there?
it. Well, that's brand new. I mean, that was from the late '60s.
Yeah. Where's the road we just walked in on?
Down below. We're up a couple levels. That almost looks like this next tier level looks like a driveway, and then farther down is the road. So maybe you drove up here where all this brushes and stuff up to the house. Maybe you just stopped there and walked in the house here.
And his barn is right over there.
Yeah, his barn is that way.
Here's a fence here, an old fence.
And I remember the barn is at a higher level than his house. Oh, well, maybe the house as well, but there's so much stone here.
Oh, look here. Here's a cellar.
Really? Oh, cellar door?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
The cellar.
It was a pump.
A pump.
Yeah, it was a water pump.
Really?
I do remember that.
Kind of remember where it was, huh?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a blue structure on it. That would be the pump house for the house, right? Connie?
Yeah.
How we drew, how we drew his water out. Can you imagine how hard that would have been? I mean, in the middle of woods, in the middle of, well, it's more prairie back there, I suppose.
It was none of these trees existed at that time.
Wow.
Maybe this one.
Yeah.
It's,
That was old,
Cottonwood's maybe 100. Or that's an oak, actually. I think, yeah. So those are that old, but that's the only
There's
trees.
a pump. Yep, I remember that. As a kid, throwing stuff down there.
Oh, you did.
Yep.
Now, you remember when the house burned because the firemen were practicing?
Right, but that was Connie's parents read it at the end of the street.
Oh,
660.
that's your house.
That was the one he stayed in. But that land.
They
And that was
burned.
and that house there that's now probably was built in about mid '80s or so, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Because there was nothing there for a long time. The road just ended up there. Yeah, but so there's like a cut in there too. That's where the barn was. Is that right? Are we back to the barn?
Oh yeah, the barn's right next door to them. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the gully we were just at and the driveway.
Yeah.
So they'd take that driveway and then just walk a little farther to their house.
Sure. And that, I'm sure that fencing is on that 100-plus-year-old oak tree. That was Fetterly's fence,
Oh,
right?
yeah. It goes all the way over here. All the way around. And that's really
So
ingrained in there.
So this is Fetterly's house, right in this area. Okay. Unknown thing.
And he lived here until when? And he sold out.
Yeah, how long do you think you lived here, Connie? Any idea? We was here when we first moved in. You did the farm? So that
So 1938 until
you moved the farm in 1940? Yeah.
40.
Okay, so it's really. Wow.
Here's a fence right there.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So what guess would from 1938
So maybe
earlier than 38?
you moved away because you went to college. You moved in 1950, right?
What?
You graduated in 1950, right?
Yes.
From Hopkins. Okay. And you have no recollection if he was still around back then? When you were in high school, probably. You probably moved on and forgot about him.
That's right. I moved on. And I can see the road here.
Wow. You remember steps coming up to the house? From down the road there?
There was steps going up to it.
Somewhere along here. Wow. It's all been,
And there's a fencing,
yeah,
Post.
fence post.
which might be the end of Betty Ides' lot. She has an acre from the end of Sherwood Hills Court down to here, and then over
Probably for her horses.
to the veterans, the mystery man's house.
Yeah.
And then straight up the hill. So most of her lot is down here. And
Wow.
she just cleared this out because it was all overgrown. And so that's mine at the top. And then David Gailey, who lives next door to me on the south side, he owns the other side of the line between him and Betty Ides.
So Ides owned all the way down to here?
Yeah, down to this fence probably and that wire.
World War Mystery Man.
Depending on the line, it's either David Gailey next to me or her.
Okay.
Because my lot is mostly on top of the hill, fortunately.
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah,
I
of course
like.
you are. Yeah, you were back further.
And I only have about 30 feet over the end of the hill before I come to their
Okay.
common line.
Yeah.
But these trees are beautiful. It's a beautiful setting, and it's so nice to not have any neighbors.
Yeah, down here, yeah. It's well
For
lit.
25 years, it's been real quiet here, just deer.
Yeah.
And because nobody can build here, there's no road access. They don't want them coming out there.
Yeah.
And so it's just, someday they'll
Somebody probably developed it. But,
develop it, but they got
No, it's
to
great.
argue about that incoming road.
right. And those people called it Fetterly Lane on the house, the man that came out of his house, Brian.
Yeah,
It's called Fetterly Lane at that point, which must be like this tiny strip here
yeah.
where it ends. Wow.
Now we could walk back that way, or we could, I think
Whatever's easiest.
this would probably be easiest. Because right over there is the barn.
Yeah. You can get back to it. His house was stone, but that was Mr. Man's house. But here's Fetterly's pump, right? Yeah.
This isn't bad. It's all level. Here we go. So here's where the barn and the turnaround for Mr. Fetterly to bring his rototiller.
This turnaround where you got into the barn here. This was all open to the kids. You could walk up here. The driver was still up here when he really walked down badly. Boy, this buckthorn is so intriguing.
Yep.
Yeah, here's the barn.
And there's the path.
Here we are 7 years later. Yep. Here's this barbed wire fence rolled up there.
70 years.
Yep.
Nature can really take over in 70 years, can't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the barn. I remember that.
And quite a bit of the cinder blocks are still there.
Yep. And some of the stuff people threw junk up here like that. See here,
That's
Connor?
a swing set.
Yeah, I think that was tossed up here.
Yeah, a swing set. So this, if this was the wall, the wheels would have been hanging up here?
They were actually kind of where the door was to the right to the right of Connie.
Okay.
I remember the wheels were, and there was a wooden peg ladder that went up to the loft, and the loft was almost all gone, but there were a few planks left up there. But you wouldn't go up. There was no reason to go up there. There was nothing there. The
There's a
roof was wood that had holes in it.
red barn, probably burned down then later,
They just kind of collapsed.
or just collapsed. Yeah.
To my recollection, nobody ever burned it. To my knowledge. We was talking about, oh, we should save this. We should save this barn. We played it as a kid.
There's a critter hole right there.
There's a what?
A critter hole.
Oh yeah.
Woodchuck or something. They're all digging around here for.
So there we are. So now we got the mystery. You just gotta find out who that old man was.
Yep, that's right where the road was.
That's crazy. The road went up the hill there. Wow, man. So they
Yeah.
had to cut in the wall.
And I'm going to show you. I got it on my iPad. I was just looking at it.
Okay.
The aerial in 1965 from an airplane shows there was a road up right here.
Right here. Wow.
I've got a bunch of aerial photographs from that time. Shows you where the buildings are, Connie, and
Well,
you
then
can
that barn is
identify
still
them.
here. You're gonna still see the barn in that photo. It's
Yeah,
clear enough.
that's right.
So in here, as you can see, this must be his driveway up to the barn, or something. But then you'd go past the barn, turn, take a hard right into the barn.
Yeah.
Right, Connie? But then the road went all the way past down to the
Yes.
next man's house.
Okay.
That's
Yep. And then that's right. The house is right up there.
well, the barn is the barn is
Beyond
first.
the road.
Yeah, okay, past the barn.
That barn, yeah. Because you could go drive right up through here, and then that flat spot.
There's almost a shed there. I mean,
Yeah.
real meager little house.
That's that flat area.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you remember what color it was?
I think this house is what?
Okay.
You think it was white?
Red barn.
White House, red barn.
When you were a kid, I remember when you sand, the road was real sandy. You see the trail marks from this road and then up to the barn. My dad drove in here. We drove her. I remember that. Now it's coming back to me. We took my grandpa down this road.
Yeah?
It's like 1962 white Dodge Dart, and we drove down as far as we could go. I'll never forget that.
The white Dodge Dart. I had a red Dodge Dart with a black top when I was
funny.
a teenager. I loved it.
This is a white Dodge Dart with red interior, red vinyl.
Mine was a convertible.
Oh, wow.
And when I was 16, that was the coolest car.
I'm sure. Wow. I just remember that we drove down here with my grandpa to show him this area.
He couldn't turn around.
We did back up. My dad drove the car.
He had to back up all the way.
Yep. We went as far down as we could go, down to the end there, where it was supposed to be. Well, it was connected for a short time. You said.
Yep,
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yep, that's his driveway up to the barn, right?
It's coming back.
The barn.
Hard right.
That's what I was trying to figure out. And we used to.
Can't believe that went up there. That's amazing.
Did you till up there with him sometimes? The raspberries?
Your dad?
Yeah. You go right straight up the driveway, up to the top of the hill, you get flat area, and we had a garden up there in 39,
Oh.
and Dad brought back horse manure from the farm up in Becker.
Okay.
And he'd dig his hole down about 4, 5, 6 inches, put the horse manure down, put the sand over the top of it, put the seeds down, put the sand over top of that. We had watermelons like this.
Oh, I bet. I got to remember that. So,
Wow.
horse manure, sand, seeds, sand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sand better than soil,
yeah.
as long as you got horse manure in there.
Had his horse manure down there. We had plenty of it out the farm.
Now, you just said the road straight up there from your house. That's different. Did you say there was a road up there too?
Were you talking about this road right here?
You know, it was a path that went up from the side of the house right up the hill.
Okay, a path.
So you'd walk up there.
We could walk up there, you couldn't really drive.
I get it. Okay.
But if you wanted to, you could drive Fetterly's path up and down.
Yeah.
You think that was used by other people? Or the Fetterly's?
No.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Connie, for that tour. You confirmed a lot of things. We know exactly where everything is now. Thank you very much.
And then all these trees here that are full grown here, now, 60 years ago, they weren't there. 70 years ago, they kind of grown.
This house, this green one here, this is one of the first houses we developed in the area in 1968. And they're the ones that thought your old house was Fetterly's house, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I was misinformed for all these 40-something years.
Now, do you want to go over to Hillside just for a minute and you can show us where your house was exactly?
Sure.
Because we weren't sure. Kind of
I'll lead you.
And then after that, the Gabrielson farm.
Yeah, he saw that he confirmed that's Gabrielson's farm. He also said the Robin Hood sign was right where pretty much where the Sherwood Forest sign is now.
Oh, okay. Do you remember that Robin Hood sign? How high do you think it was?
It said it was 20.
20 foot?
It had to be, yeah.
So, as high as these wires.
Yeah.
And it was just Robin Hood, Errol Flynn,
Yeah. That was
basically, because it was 1940 or so.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll meet you at your house that you moved to from here in 1940. He was here from 38 to 40, and then he moved there. Oh, we thought it was over here.
No, it's here.
I was wrong.
Close
Me
enough.
doing all my stuff.
It's not hard.
I'm always close, but not quite right.
It's hard to remember over all these
Well,
years.
that's what I thought he told me.
Unless you lived it, you know, for many, many years, then it's ingrained. This tree was
Pretty old.
almost that old.
not
Do you
that
remember that tree?
No, see those are oak, I think, or maple.
Uh-huh.
Where you see those at the
get
hedge
behind
group of lilacs. That was the about 25, 30 feet on the other side of that was a
I'm gonna tell these people what we're doing. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't want to get in any trouble again.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So you said that maple tree and those oaks were just babies?
Yeah.
Oh. And is this the same house or is it
No.
yours was torn down and
It's gone.
totally gone? Okay.
Yeah.
But 2255, the same address? This is
Ours is
2255.
10704 West Hillside Lane.
10704
Yeah.
West Hillside.
This tree was not here, of course.
Really? You're older than that tree. That's an old tree.
Yeah.
I might be 50 years old.
Yeah. See,
It's a beautiful.
driveway came down here,
Your driveway came down here.
right about where that house is. Tan house is.
Yeah.
That was where our barn was.
Oh, your barn was over
The
there.
red barn right there.
Oh, here's another dump truck.
Chicken coop to the
Hang
left.
on, I can't.
You got one-
So the barn was way down there. What do you think this little driveway is here?
Huh?
That remnants of a driveway. Was anything there?
No,
Bill?
no.
This is just all cow field, cow pasture.
It was. This has been, reworked as far as elevations are concerned.
Oh,
It fell off from here down to this lower level. And in the spring, it would freeze over. Always flood.
it would flood all the time. Okay.
And then it would freeze over. We would skate from our place to We crossed over the fence.
Oh, you'd skate over there
Over the Flemings and back and forth.
to the Flemings and back. Okay.
Yeah, that was that's every spring it had happened. You know, you get that early
Here, pause a second.
spring thaw, and then all of a sudden it gets cold and freezes again. The water retains high. Get that nice
Smooth ice for skating.
skating.
We always had a skating rink in the back of our house
Yeah.
on Lake Harriet, 44th and Fremont. He says he's older than this tree, though.
I believe it. That tree is not that old. She's probably 50.
It's a nice maple.
Yeah, they grow fast, so.
And Tanglin, in this farm, I want to know where the farmhouse was. I think you told
Yeah,
me.
the one behind, you told me on the way over here.
Yeah.
To the right. What's the name of that farm?
That was Morris Peterson's farm.
Morris Peterson. And that's the farmhouse kind of by the playground
Yep.
to the west of that.
Yep.
And you said the lot went from here all the way down to Ford Road, a long, skinny lot.
That would be on his side.
Yeah, on his side. You said it went quite a ways, all the way down the hill to Ford Road.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what I want to know on the way out of here, if you could drive around the high school, you said that the other guy's place is Anderson. And he's really the one who sold the land for the high school. And so the Anderson farm, if you could point out where the farmhouse is for the Anderson farm.
I could tell you where the Anderson, as far as I can remember, where the Anderson farm is, and it was right on Cedar Lake Road.
Great. Yeah, that's one thing. Let's identify that when we drive by. Just point out the window, okay?
Okay.
Great. All right, thanks. And now we can head back.
Okay.
Thanks so much. So Morris Peterson, do you remember Anderson's first name?
Oh, the one up at Fetterly?
The other dairy farm that sold.
I'll tell you a quick story on Anderson. I was in first grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Oak Knoll.
In Oak Knoll, yes. And Anderson was on the school board. And his closest son to me was Earl Anderson, and there were two other brothers. Older than that, I don't think they were in high school yet. Or they were probably in high school, but Earl Anderson was in grade school at the same time. And he came to the class, and I was a two-room school at that time. And of course, I was to the right-hand side, where the first, second, third, and fourth graders were. And he came in the door, and the teacher announced who he was. And he said, "I can do something that all the rest of you can't do." And they said, "What's that?" He stuck his hand in his mouth. He said, "See, I can bite on that, and it doesn't hurt." I remember him doing that. He just had his teeth
He just
pulled.
would bite on his
Oh,
hand.
he has teeth pulled.
He had all
Oh.
his teeth removed, and he didn't have any teeth, see?
So then he'd pull out his dentures.
That's funny.
Now, in first grade, what year would that be? Because we have records of Oak
That'd be
Knoll.
38.
38, okay. Because sometime I'll get to you the old PTA records. They gave us their old Oak Knoll book, so it has the names of all the parents. You'll remember the family names.
Yeah.
So I want to get those to you.
Yeah.
We're scanning them now.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you in a minute. Point out, and then Gabriel Farm. You
Gabriel said, yeah, he
you
confirmed
told
that. That's
you
correct.
confirmed that,
Yep.
and the
Across the
Rob.
Sherwood Forest. Yeah.
Oh, and anything about the mink
Farm.
farm building by the
He said he
Bulls?
couldn't remember. I showed him the foundation, and he didn't remember that. Did you?
I can't remember that.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
just remember what we did
Yeah.
around it.
Right. And when it was developed, you camped in there.
Yeah. They started working on that just shortly after we moved here.
Okay. But when you were living on Fetterly Road, that was still the mink farm, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Still operating.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing, huh?
Did you see mink around, or you shoot them with your
No.
You weren't
They're all
supposed
They're
to.
all fenced in.
You could shoot the rats over there.
Did the dump.
We could
In the
shoot 'em at
dump.
the dump, yes.
But I bet your dad said, I don't want you shooting any mink or any fox because they're valuable.
Right. Well, they were inside the farm. It's all fenced in. I found fencing in back of my house in the woods, and I found an aluminum trough where they must have drank from. Fed
Oh.
from. Yeah.
And Whitney Frisch has seen them in the back of hers.
Fencing. Yeah.
Fencing, I mean.
Yep. Yep. Right.
So, yeah, we're just always trying to find out more about the mink farm.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Connie.
Okay.
So this was the Fleming's farm. Right here. With the chicken coops back there. And my picture of the barn that I took in the 1990s, the last standing building here. And here's Hopkins Lindbergh High School, which was part of Morris Peterson Dairy Farm. Went from Tanglin's. Their house was by the Tanglin playground, and Connie says their dairy farm went all the way over the hill up there to Ford. And somewhere in the middle here was the border between the Morris Peterson farm and the Anderson farm. And so the Anderson farm, we're going to show you where he thinks that, where he remembers the old farmhouse was. Here's where I've taught for many, many years. It's usually a full parking lot on a Thursday, but pandemic, everybody's gone for 2 months, the whole spring. From March 10th, no school. Historic pandemic. Now I always wondered if this house was the old farmhouse, but no, apparently not. He's going to show us where it is. There was. Here's North Junior High where my sons went. Oh, we're going to turn in here. So, and action. Ready now. Anderson Farm was.
Right here beyond the farm. Right here beyond the school.
Oh.
And there was another farm here, and then that one with the castle on the hill.
Oh.
I'll drive you where that castle was. It's
You.
right
What's the name of that one
past- called the castle.
with the horses? And you had a story about burning barn or
That's
something.
the place on the top of the hill.
You knew their name,
And
Murphy or something.
he might know.
I don't know.
Okay, but the Anderson farmhouse was kind of where the junior high school where my 3 sons went.
Yeah. And this school, I believe, was built in 1957.
1957, I think.
You can look it
Yeah,
up, but that's what I recall.
that's right. And then the Morris Peterson farm was just to the west of the playground at Tanglin today.
Yeah,
Yes.
you see where that tall pine tree is?
Yeah.
That's about the Morris Peterson's place.
Oh, okay.
And then it went back there because their house is way back there.
But you say there was another farm here and then that one in between.
Yeah.
Do you remember? You don't remember that?
Yeah.
And then you told the story about the Native Americans who skinned the pig.
They lived across the street here.
They lived over here by Cedar Apartments. They skinned it instead of butchering it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much. That confirms a lot of stuff for us.
I can take you. The Penn Cycle, the road goes next to Penn Cycle, way up there. That would be the other farm that Connie can't remember where the horses were. The name. Can't remember the name. That,
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that house too as a kid.
Okay.
It was
Yeah,
white.
point to it as we drive by. I'll just follow you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Hey, they're standing in line for Penn. Oh, I've never been up here. This is behind North Junior High and Cedar Apartment. Oh.
So this is the site of the one that had the horses.
Oh, okay.
And where the big fire was. And this was all gated, it said, as we came up here,
Uh-huh.
this was all gated and all pasture. And I, as a kid, would come up here and I played at this house
Oh,
near Indian guides together in the 70s. And it was this very house, there was nothing here. It was a long dirt road going all the way up here. All these houses were not here.
wow.
And that'd be again in the early 70s.
Does it look like the same house or been?
Now, it's not the same house that Connie knew, but this was built soon after that because it was here as a kid for me.
Yeah.
So this is probably, this house at the end was probably built in maybe the 60s.
Okay.
So maybe they tore down the house after the barn burned, who knows.
Yeah.